Alright, so this is how you make smoke bombs. It's a pretty simple process. You just need a little bit of saltpeter or sodium nitrate, which I get from a stump remover. You can buy it in its raw form. You need a skillet, as seen here, stove on low. Uh, this is what I use right here for the potassium nitrate stump remover. Specticide, I think that's the brand name, but just look on the main ingredient. It'll tell you whether it's potassium nitrate or not when you buy it. So I've already measured some of that out here in a bowl. There's about a quarter of a cup there, and the ratio is about 60-40. Stove on low, dump the potassium nitrate in there. Here you use, I got about a third of a quarter of a cup of just regular table sugar. You mix that in, and eventually it'll start to caramelize. It's pretty simple. Just stir it around until it turns almost like a peanut butter or chocolate brown color. You can put a spoonful of baking soda in here. A little bit of baking soda will act as a retarder, kind of make your smoke bombs burn a little slower. That's optional. You don't need it. I personally, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. I still am yet to determine whether or not it works better with or without the smoke bombs. I'm using a popsicle stick to stir this up. I'm just going to keep stirring it around, shaking it, and scraping it off the side of the pan. It stinks a little bit, so you want to keep your exhaust fan on. I don't think anything's toxic as far as fumes go, so it does stink a little bit. The smell's a little unpleasant. So it smells like something burning, kind of. Just keep stirring it around. This takes a little bit of time, but I'm going to let the camera roll so you can see everything. I could just splice it and cut right to it to keep your attention, but I'd rather people see the entire step. These are organic dyes right here. I got a blue and a green one. I'm not going to put no dyes in it now. I'm not big on the colored smoke. It works good for like 4th of July if you want to do this with your kids, you want to save some money, or you don't got much money. You can make a lot of smoke bombs out of one thing of stump remover and a 5-pound thing of sugar. You can light them all night. Kids will love it. A little bit of food coloring or some organic dye put in there, and you'll have colored smoke. As you can see here, the sugar's starting to caramelize. That's what it's going to look like as it starts to caramelize. Now, I didn't wait till it was all melted down and all liquefied till I added the baking soda. You might want to do that. I'm not sure if it matters. But you think you can add it in when it's powder. I add it in just whenever. It doesn't really matter. I'm not sure. It works no matter how you do it. I've done it before, and I've done it after. But let this sit a little bit longer, heat up, melt down a little bit. So, as you can see, it takes a few minutes for I forget what the melting point of sodium or potassium nitrate is. I believe it's around like 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Here I'm going to add a spoonful of baking soda. So, like I said, this is just a retarder. It kind of slows down the burning process. You can actually speed this process up too by adding iron oxide. It will actually make rocket fuel if you add iron oxide to it. And I'll have to make another video on that. But this right here, you can see now it's really starting to stink, and it's getting real gooey and starting to react, and the molecules are starting to bond together, and like I said, it starts looking like chocolate or peanut butter. This is pretty dark, might be a little hot, could be burning it a little bit, might be why it's so dark. But you just whip that around, make sure all your powders are melted down and everything. You want to get it to a nice smooth consistency. Just keep mixing it kind of like mixing up a cake. Um, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on how to do this stuff. It's pretty neat, relatively safe. This is an extremely stable compound, so you don't got to worry about it catching on fire on your stove or nothing like that. It's extremely safe to do, no danger. I believe it's even edible. I wouldn't advise eating potassium nitrate, but I'm pretty sure this recipe right here is actually edible. I don't advise anybody eating it, but just in case, the dog or something eats it, it's probably not going to harm them if you leave it laying around. Or the kids think that it's candy or a piece of chocolate. It gets hard like glass too, so they shouldn't mistake it for nothing. Once it hardens, it's extremely hard and brittle. So I'm going to lay out a couple pieces of wax paper just to pour it on to let it cool down. Once you get it all mixed up, I'm going to make 2 separate smoke bombs out of this. So we'll make 2 separate piles. There's one. You can use all kinds. You can use toilet paper rolls. You can use a number of things to mix this with, to use it to form it, to use for a mold. It works great like this. Pour it on wax paper, let it dry, pop it right off. You can put it on a cookie sheet. You put it right outside on a concrete. You can actually put it right on the stovetop. It'll pop right off as soon as it dries and cools down. I usually let it cool down for about an hour before I light it. So I'm gonna let this take this. And I'm in Indiana, so it's like April 25th. It's an extremely cool night out tonight. So I'm just gonna take it outside and let it sit out there for a little bit to cool down. I'm gonna put I come up with my own process, putting a couple match heads in it. I haven't tested this process yet, so not sure how it works, but it should make it a little easier to light. If you got wicks from old fireworks, or if it's around the 4th of July, you could easily just stick a wick in it. I don't have no wicks, so I'm just going to stick a couple matches in it. Hopefully that'll make this a little easier to light. When it's windy, it kind of sucks lighting it with a lighter. So I'm going to let this set up and cool down, and I'll get back to you and put this video together and post it on YouTube so you can see how this is done, and hopefully have a nice little family project for the next time you have a 4th of July firework get together or display or whatever. You can make a bunch of these with the kids and let them let off a whole bunch of smoke bombs. So I'll be back with you shortly. It's not real hot to the touch. It cools down fairly fast, considering how hot it gets to melt down to this. So now here I am outside. I'm getting ready to try my match head experiment in the smoke bomb. I already know this didn't work out too well, but anyways, what I did is put the match heads in there. As you can see, I got match heads sticking out of there, and I got a match striker in my hand, and so I'm just striking them, trying to get them to ignite like that. It's not real windy, so it's not that the wind blew them out. The matches actually went out before the smoke bomb ignited, so I'm just going to run to the garage real quick and get my torch. So I had no problem. They light pretty easy with a lighter too, so stay tuned. Sorry about the delay, but okay, now I got my torch. I'm just gonna set it down there, hit it with the flame. As you see, sparks right up, and that's the you can't see, it is nighttime out, but you get quite a bit of smoke off of that. And this is take 2, second smoke bomb. You see, it's a pretty small smoke bomb. It only took me a couple minutes to make these, so I don't even know what the cost breaks down to, but as you can see, that thing just barrels smoke off of it. It's almost military grade equivalent smoke bomb. I mean, this thing barrels smoke off of them. And that's at night. As you can imagine, during the day, it just fills there with smoke. And you can make them, instead of splitting them into two, you can make just one. You can make 5-minute smoke bombs easy, and they burn, as you can see, clean and efficient. There's nothing left behind that, just a little black burn spot on the concrete.